Okay.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm not sure if there's anyone watching quite yet, but you might be watching it after the effect. And welcome. Today I have two ISFPs with me who I'm excited to see kind of like the similarities and differences and kind of like illuminate what it is like to be an ISFP because there's this kind of like preconceived notions that ISFPs are like so literal and like they can't have any kind of intuition and that kind of stuff. And I like to kind of show you guys that, that's not true. And also just to have a good conversation with these two peeps. So I have Kale, my sister, who's an ISFP, and I have Charles, Benson, who is also an ISFP. So, do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Um,
Whoever wants to
Hi,
go
I'm
first.
Kale.
Oh, I'm sorry. I should have like directed it. I apologize.
How dare you?
Go ahead, Kale. You go first, and then Charles.
I'm Kale. Michelle's my big sister, my best friend, and my favorite color is green. That's my introduction. There you go. You're welcome.
Cool. Nice to meet you. I am Charles. I'm ISFP and I'm in a band called Benevolence. And my drummer told me to whore out the band on this thing, so I'm doing what has been requested. We're melodic death metal. I don't know how to really compare us. Like you have heavy vocals, clean vocals, heavy guitars, melodic death metal. There you go.
I love it. Melodic death metal's pretty cool. I mean, um, isn't that kind of like what Tool is?
No, more like Insomnium, Swallow the Sun, Amon Amarth, stuff like that.
That's awesome. And what do you do in the band?
I play the guitar
Nice.
Awesome. And how long have you been playing with this band in particular?
since last June, actually.
What got you into playing in the band?
They kept texting me until I gave in.
How'd they find out about you being able to play
Sales.
guitar?
They've been friends of mine on and off over the years, and I was in a different band for many years, and then I joined this one recently because I got back together, and the guy texted me, the drummer texted me on Facebook or whatever, and he texted me every day until I finally called him and said, "Well, I guess let's talk business."
The persistence finally got to you, huh?
Yeah, it's the best decision I've ever made, though. These people are like family. It's probably the best
Fuck yeah.
group of people I've ever jammed with, so it works out.
That's awesome. So, like, when you say it's the best group that you've ever jammed with, like, what makes it such a good group to work with?
The people are non-judgmental. Not saying I'm not insulting my other bands, but just I fit in and blend in better with this group of people. I guess maybe this is an FI thing, but we always feel like we're on the outside looking in. In this band, I feel like we're a lot more one with each other. There's none of this pretentious crap going on. Everybody can completely be themselves. Nobody's criticizing your life or what. I've been in bands where people try to criticize your personal life and decisions you make, and it's like, well, let me live my own fucking life, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. Let me do what I'm going to do, whatever it is. I'll figure it out as I go.
Fuck yeah, dude. Straight up. That's awesome.
We could use more of that in this world.
It's hard to explain, but I was in a band for 6 years called Exalted Throne, and we first started out male fronted melodic death metal, and then the guy got fired, and then we replaced him with a girl, and we became more melodic metal with a female singer. Then the bass player did brutal vocals. Hold on, Chris. Yes, what is going on? Uh, Tacos is fine. Can you give me like half an hour? Is he cool with being slightly delayed? I mean, well, he's coming way the hell from Keller. He's doing an interview. Okay. All right. Well, keep me posted on 8 o'clock. And tacos, just text me. That's fine. All right. Well, I'm on this. This is live, so they're watching us. I guess say
Hi.
hi to my drummer. He's also most likely ISFP, or he fits the bill, anyways. I don't know.
Nice. Welcome to the fam. No, I'm
All right.
actually.
Nice.
Sorry about that, y'all. It's a busy day. Band crap. I turn into an ENTJ when I'm in my band because that's just how you have to roll.
Explain more
Anyways,
of that, like shadow sign.
well, being that I've been in bands for years, I've learned to become a band leader. And when I'm in a band, even though I am a perceiver, I like things to be organized. I'm like, okay, what are we working on? How are we gonna work
Yes.
on it? What's the plan? What's the end goal? Let's get this shit done. And that's no, I'm not an ENTJ. That is totally just me going backwards. You relate to that, Kel, where when you're in a
Yes.
situation, you take charge. You want shit to get done your way.
Mhm. Yes, 100% all the time. I work in kitchens and like I swear to God, I'm the only person with common sense sometimes. And I'm like, it's not that fucking hard, guys. Like we just gotta do this and put it in this order. And like honest to God, that shit, like the order that I put it in and how to get it done and everything is so simple. It's so simple. All you have to do is just fucking do it.
I know, I fucking hate stupidity, which is weird. We're FI dollar, but that T Imperial kicks
Yes.
in. I hate dumbassery. I hate when I'm driving somewhere and the idiots on the road can't fucking drive right. Excuse my language, Michelle. I know we're live,
Oh
but
my
It's
I am
fine.
very much.
No,
I'm
that's
a real
perfect.
person. I'm a real person, so you're gonna get the real
Straight
me.
up. Yes,
Um,
exactly.
I I hate stupidity. I hate when people lack common sense, and it's like, oh my god, the dumbassery is literally going to be the death of me.
Straight up. That's how I feel in kitchens all the time. You'll always get like a select, maybe like two people out of a 30 people staff where you're actually like, all right, you know what's up. You get it. All right. So we end up being the only ones who ever get shit done because everybody else is too distracted with this or that, or they're just fucking lazy.
What kind of distractions do you see?
Like of these people that are getting distracted at work.
Hmm.
Conversation with other people. I'm the type of worker where I'll talk and work at the same time. If you're talking so much that I can't get my job done, then you're gonna see me literally walking away. I don't have time to have a long like 30-minute conversation with you in the middle of all my shit. I gotta get my shit done. Or like music, getting caught on your phone, you know what I mean? Just like stupid little shit like that. Like if you're gonna fuck with that shit, go off into the corner and separate yourself for a minute. Go to the bathroom, at least make yourself have an excuse. But don't do it in the middle of my workspace because you're just gonna get in my way or piss me off because you're not doing your work when you should be doing your work. It's right in front of you. I don't know. That's how
You're very subconscious in that situation. You're going into your shadow for sure.
yeah.
It's
Yeah, it's
weird how.
definitely not a more positive side of myself.
Yeah, I work alone, so I don't have to really like. I don't work over people, but I do clean classrooms, and sometimes if the teacher's a total mess, it just pisses me off. I'm like, oh my god, do y'all not
Oh my god.
fucking pick up anything during the day? Do I have to clean the fucking crayon and fucking pin marks off the floor all of the damn time? I mean, it just
Uh-huh.
or better yet, they take a full fucking drink, right? And then they put it in the fucking trash can. And then they'll complain, oh, there was a
Without
soda
dumping
stain.
it first. We both were just like cringe.
Then they'll complain, oh, there's a fucking soda stain on my floor. And my trash can is thinking, yeah, that's what fucking happens when you put a full thing of Dr. Pepper in your trash can.
Oh my fucking god.
It's like y'all have
Dude.
fucking PhDs and shit.
Take care of it. Dude, yeah, I feel that in kitchens. Like at my last like long-term job, we had like different prep stations and stuff. And there was this one guy in particular that would always pick up his like cutting board and knife and take it to dish his table, like his prep station, he would just leave dirty and just move on to the next thing like it didn't happen. And I would always be the one who would just stand there and be like, all right, 5 minutes has gone by and he's not cleaning it up. Somebody's got to fucking do it. And it's always me. Always me.
You need a job where you can just do it by yourself.
Dude, straight up, I am a lone wolf in most of my life. Like, and working in a setting like that eats at me when it's every fucking day.
Yeah, I used to work retail. I worked customer service for many years. My job though was a double-edged sword though. Like I work alone, it's fine, but I hate the routine aspect because I'm a janitor and I hate doing anything that feels like it's not creative. That drains
Yeah.
me, not the alone part, but the fact that I'm scrubbing the same damn toilet for 5 fucking years. I'm like, dear God, this is I need that's why I listen to music all night or I'm listening to audiobooks or something because like could you handle a job like that? I mean the alone part's cool, but like where you literally do the same damn thing every day, 5 days
Yeah,
a fucking week.
no. That was part of my issue at the other place too, because at restaurants, I always like a lot of people complain about inconsistency because like the head chefs or whatever will switch things up, like switch up like the menu or whatever. They have a new special every day. People complain about the inconsistencies, but I like that because if you're prepping the same stuff for the same food, you're not having any variety in your life because you work more than you're at home sometimes, especially in kitchens and stuff. I don't know about your other jobs, but most jobs you end up working more than you're at your own house. And you need to switch it up or else it just is maddening. It's fucking crazy.
Oh no, and I think it's because we are receiver types with that extroverted sensing, even though it's the auxiliary function, we're SE users. SE likes new shit. Granted, we don't need new every day like an ESFP, but dear God, it's just I can only take so much of the same routine before I work my schedule backwards sometimes just to make it seem more interesting because it's just
Exactly.
it's like clockwork. You're in the same spot every damn day, and it's like, oh my God, this is it's boring because you know what to expect. I mean, it's not hard. So yeah, I asked other introverts if they could handle my job, and more than half of them said no. Your job sounds fucking boring. And I'm like, but you get to be alone. You get solitude. They're like, I don't care. Your job doesn't sound exciting.
I need some stimulation in my work zone. I need some stimulation. Like I am an introvert, but like I don't know, at that job I was talking about, it was a long-term job. It took me like 3 months or so to warm up to people, but like also having that connection with people that are in the same boat as me, it's important for me to have that. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
not that introvert that can go all day without talking to anybody. I still need some stimulation and I need to understand the people around me.
Well, you're a feeler.
I
That would make sense. FI likes to. FI users need some kind of connection. Granted, we don't need it all damn day long, but when you use FI, it's a feeling function. Even though it's internal feeling, you still want people to connect with. I think a TI Dom is going to be your less talkative introvert. Like an ISTP literally could probably go a whole fucking week without even looking at their phone and they're in heaven. Because they're just thinking about how shit works. They got that inferior FE, so they really don't fucking want to connect with anybody.
Mhm.
Like I know an ISTP, and the most I get off of him is like, if he does message me, it's some weird meme sound.
It's
I'm
something
sorry, can
weird
you say
like
that
what?
again?
Huh?
We both talked at the same time, but you said he always texts you something weird like, and then it cut out.
Oh, just
Mhm.
memes. That's
Oh.
about what I
Oh, nice.
or he's getting a new guitar pedal, so he sent me a picture of this overdrive pedal he's been using. And other than that, I don't really get much conversation now. The guy, I mean, I could call him and be like, "Hey Tim, what's going on, buddy?" But other than that, he doesn't like to initiate conversations much, because ISTPs are very introverted, at least in my experience with them. I mean, we are too, but like he's a whole new class of introvert. Hang out with him for 4 hours, he's already passing out and falling asleep. He gets
Sounds like my
drained.
friend Teresa. She's That's funny.
So, Kel, you do need the stimulation too in a work zone. For me, it's just listening to music or like an audiobook or a podcast or watching some of these videos with headphones on.
Yeah. I mean, like, I definitely was listening to music a lot. Like, we had a speaker at work, and there was a while there where I was like our main like DJ or whatever. But when we started getting new like taste of music in the kitchen, we got more DJs and stuff. So I would have my own personal music in. But like, even though that's really good stimulation, I get into like this weird zone I'm a dancer, I'm a feeler, you know what I mean? Like, I just want to flow with the music, and I get too centered on that sometimes. So it helps me to like communicate with the people around me to like stay centered in my zone where I'm supposed to be and stay focused. Because sometimes music takes me like out of this world.
I know what you mean. I will daydream really hard sometimes when I'm listening to music, and every now and then, if I'm not careful, I'll be like, "How long have I been cleaning this same thing?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I should probably be moved on to the next area." Or what I hate is my thoughts are so loud. I can have my headphones cranked and I'm jamming out to some stuff, and I got so much going through my head. I'm like, man, I completely missed that song because my brain is
Yep.
louder than the song. I'm like, damn it.
Yeah, dude, straight up. Straight
The
So
up.
FI is loud. It never turns off. It keeps running. You know, what's weird
Yeah.
is being a musician, I've been mistaken as an E-type quite a bit, and it annoys the hell out of me. Like this will sound funny, but for like a week last year or 2 years ago, for like 5 days, I thought I was an ENFP one time, except I don't use any of those functions. Well, what it was is like, I don't know what my type is. I'm very introverted with people I don't like or know, and I'm extroverted with my friends. Maybe I'm an ENFP, and I just pulled it out of my ass, and it didn't fit.
Oh
But I
my
thought it was.
God.
I'm like, oh,
I literally didn't hear any of that. My phone cut all the way out, and I can't even see my sister right now. Where'd she go?
she's
uh,
right. She's right there. I'm pointing at her.
Oh, I could hear you, but I couldn't see you.
No,
That was weird.
but no, that was the wrong type. I didn't know what my type was, so I was just like, well, I scored INFJ, but I don't know. I'm a musician, and I don't know. I went back and forth. I had no clue what I was, and I said, fuck it, maybe I'm INFP because I feel very FI about everything. And then it was revealed that I'm actually an ISFP all along. And according to the real myers-briggs test, that's what I got, but I was in denial, and I'm like, no, fuck these results. This is bullshit.
so I mean, my question is like, what made you realize that you were an ISFP?
Um, Basically just the way I go through my thought process and all the shit I'm into, and that when the hordes come after you and they're all telling you you're a big obvious ISFP, you just kind of need to embrace that type. And I'm like, but I feel like an intuitive, and they're like, no, you're such a sensor, and here's why. And I'm like, that and my father's an ISFP, and we act almost identical. So that's when I finally realized, I guess that really is me.
So what? So my question is, what kind of stuff were they telling you that like were the obvious evidence that you're an ISFP instead of an INFP?
Something to do with the fact that I struggle with abstract concepts, the fact that I need a lot of sensory details to understand things, the fact that I always need physical proof on something instead of the overall vibe.
Same.
Yeah. But I'm so
It's all
spiritual.
three. Same.
I'm so damn spiritual that I felt like I was an intuitive because I mean I ain't the greatest example, but I'm a Christian, except my mouth sucks. We'll deal with that later. But I'm a spiritual person, you know. I believe in God. I believe in the heavenly realms. I also just believe that everything happens for a reason, you know. And that apparently is just an SENI axis kind of thing. And I thought that meant I was highly intuitive. No, that's me taking real world data through extroverted sensing and then seeing the NI big picture later when I'm alone.
So what do you think about that, Kale? Like, how are you towards spirituality?
I can't really comment because I couldn't really hear what was being said. My mountain internet is like cutting everything out right now.
Okay, well, I can kind of like summarize. So basically, he was saying like he really felt like he was an intuitive because like he's very spiritual and he believes in God and the heavenly realms and that things happen for a reason. Um, but then he found out that that's mostly because he's an SENI person, meaning that he takes like the real world data and puts it in through this like big picture meaning kind of filter when he's home alone and like able to actually think about it. So like, how do you feel about your spirituality?
How do I feel about my spirituality? Uh, that's a loaded question.
You're welcome.
um, fuck, do the same thing, except I feel like I'm in the moment. Like when something happens, I'm like, oh, that means this. And when I see this being the result of that, I go, okay, so I've got like 3 decisions to make right now. What path do I want to go on? And then I just fucking pick the one that feels right. And then I'm on to my next fucking journey. I don't know. I don't really know how to answer that question. How do I feel about my
We're,
spirituality? I feel lost in my spirituality right now. How about that?
we're just called the most intuitive sensor, though, for some reason. That's what they label us as on the internet, and I've read that, and it does seem to make sense because a lot
That we're
of,
the most intuitive?
out of all the sensing types, we are the most intuitive, is what it says.
I could see that. I usually end up telling my friends about shit that they don't see until either during or after it happens, when I can see it before it even fucking happens, if that makes any sense.
That's a very NI thing. I can see where things are going, whether or not I tell people is here or there. But a lot of
Yeah,
times I
it
just
really
kind of
depends. You have to pick somebody who is willing to hear you. Even if they don't take your advice, they at least have to be willing to hear you, or else you're fucking wasting your breath.
exactly. But no, I relate to that. Just kind of knowing things. I get a lot of vibes and gut feelings about stuff, and I'll be like, "How did I fucking see that? How did I know that shit was going down?" And I don't know. Right now, I'm like in a
Earth
situation where,
angels.
huh?
I called us Earth angels. We got wings.
Right. I'm in this situation where I'm trying to find a different place to live because I want to be closer to my campuses and like the neighborhood. And one of the places I just had this dirty vibe. Like maybe it's my preconceived notion of that area of town, or maybe it's my FINI going like I don't like this area because I couldn't explain in a physical sense to why I didn't like it. I'm just like, man, the vibe over here just feels ugh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just have to say that that's something that like that also happens to me. Not necessarily like that exact situation, but like where I'm just like, this is how I feel about it. I can't like break down the logical reasonings behind it. It's just a feeling, like it just doesn't feel right or doesn't feel good or it does feel bad or whatever.
Dude, straight up. I mean, like, I think all of us are built with that at least a little bit. Some people don't really know how to listen to it. But like the other day, I was walking into a potential job that I have lined up, potentially, you know what I mean? And there's another place right across the street, and I've always been interested in them. And I got like 3 or 4 feet away from the door. I was going back and forth in my head of like, should I not? Should I? Like, I kept getting weird feelings about it. And I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to do it. Like I said, like 3 or 4 feet away from the door. And I was like, nah, that does not feel right. And I just whoop, turned the other way and was like, it's not happening. Because I've just learned that if my gut feels something, I'm probably right. And I
Right.
spent a long time not listening to that and getting fucked. So,
That does make sense. Also, we all suck at extroverted thinking, so therefore we're not really able to explain things. Or I don't want to explain stuff, and it feels awkward. If somebody's like, "Well, why did you do that?" I'm like, "Damn it, do I have to tell you why I did that?"
yeah. And you could have like 80 different reasons why you did it. You could have so many different like conclusions and so many different thought processes before you chose the like direct thing where you're just like, how the fuck do I tell you that I've got like 8 different paths in my fucking brain?
Yeah, people don't want to hear. People don't understand that. I've been questioned a lot over the years. Why you do this? Why you do that? I'm like thinking, do I have to explain the why on everything?
Straight up.
Like a dominant TE person probably could be like, "Oh, I did this because this is the logic behind this decision, and this is why it makes sense to do this." And I'm thinking that's cool. We don't really go. Our brains don't go there naturally, anyways.
I feel like there are not enough words in the English language to express why. And I feel like there's too many whys in the world to really get an answer for all of them. I feel like asking the question why, if it's not a simple thing that you could potentially answer for yourself, then you're wasting your time. I feel like there's not enough answers for those why questions. It's an unrealistic question. Why?
And I'm over here asking why to everything.
Well, you're an EE your mind is always why this, why this, why this, why that, what if this, what if this, what if that. I couldn't do that. My brain would go crazy if I was trying to ask what if all the time. I
Oh, believe me,
mean,
it does drive me crazy.
I don't know why I thought I was your type for a while, but like 2 years ago, I literally thought I was an ENFP, but it totally just did not resonate. And then I talked to an ENFP on Facebook. He's like, "You're an ISFP, dude, because you remind me of my ISFP friend." I'm like, "Really?" I was so skeptical. I'm like, "Bullshit." He's like, "No, you're an ISFP." I'm like, "Really? Tell me why. Explain yourself." And he's like, "Dude, to me, it's just obvious." And I'm like, "Whatever, dude." But then I was intrigued. I'm like, "Okay, tell me more. What makes me ISFP?" And he gave me a long list of fucking things. And he said I'm basically a lot like his friend who was an ISFP as well. And I'm like, I'm like, man, so dumb. But the thing is, we're sensors, so we have a hard time accepting our type because we just don't grasp the concept as easily as an intuitive. We always take things so literal. So I don't know how to explain it really, but I'm sure Kale might know what I mean.
I only heard part of that.
Oh, damn it.
This connection that you have up there in Colorado, like,
Really sucks.
um,
Really sucks.
so basically, oh god, maybe you should just say it again, Charles. I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry.
I was confused about my type for a while, and an ENFP on Facebook also revealed to me that I was ISFP, but I was in heavy denial and I didn't believe it 100%. But I still kept asking him, "Why am I ISFP? Can you explain what makes me one?" And he's like, "Well, you're like my friend," and he's like, "I'm an intuitive, so I can't give you all the details immediately, but I will try my best to explain to you why you are your type." You know,
Mm.
because like, and so I finally have accepted the type over like 2 years of like not really believing it. Because like I'm a musician, so one point in time in my life I thought maybe I'm an extrovert, but it never fit right because I need a lot of alone time, and I am not very talkative with people I don't like or feel comfortable with. I'm always in my freaking
Yeah.
head, and I daydream and zone out all the time. And well, the biggest thing was like most of my life I've been a loner on and off. I didn't really start hanging out with people until like maybe closer to later high school years, and that was because I was in a band. Or I hung out with my one friend. He would come over and we'd stay up all night writing lyrics and playing guitar. We would be crafting music, you know? So it's like people associate, oh,
Yeah.
you talk, you're an extrovert. No, it's about where your mental energy comes from and it's about where your main focus is. You know, I've seen like some ENTPs who don't say a word. My brother is ENTP and he is super freaking quiet. And the guitar player in my band is an ESTP who hardly says anything, but he's definitely an ESTP. So it's not about that. And I hate all the stereotyping.
Oh, we have a comment, guys, that there's an ISFP who's actually watching right now, and she's really grateful that we're having this conversation because there's not very much content on ISFPs in general, which I have to agree is 100% the reality of MBTI YouTube because it's just all about mostly, not gonna lie, it's all about the ends, like the INFJs and ENFPs and ENFJs and INTJs, and there's a serious underrepresentation of ISFP. And that's something like I personally wish that there was more information on because I think I never would have mistyped Kale if I actually knew what an ISFP was. But I called her an INFP for 2 whole years, thinking that that was actually her type, even though no. And as soon as like I think it was Charles was one of the first people to say like, yo, I think she's an ISFP. And like as soon as like she actually did research, she was like, yeah, that makes more sense.
I know my type when I see it. I've studied type, so I recognize visual cues, verbal cues, the tone of voice, the speech patterns, the body language. I mean, there's so much you got to look at. Like anybody who's a JI lead, which means introverted judging, has a very closed off body language. We tend to keep our hands really close to our body. Your sister got kicked off the call. It
I
must be
know.
her. Right?
It must be her internet. She'll be back. I'll send her another invite so she has it.
But what it is our body language is very closed off. Like somebody who leads with FIRTI, you're gonna notice they always keep their arms kind of crossed, their hands are close to their body, etc. So you'll see that, but also like by her speech patterns, I recognize okay, she's totally ISFP, not INFP, because the speech patterns are very similar to mine. You have to see the chart. A friend of mine, an INFJ, sent me a chart, but like this is where it gets a little more abstract, and it's still hard for me to comprehend. But basically, the ISFP, what he was saying is we have an SENI thing in our speech patterns. What that means is like strong SE users will talk on a strong tone, but being that it's like our middle perceiving functions, um, an ISFP will start off strong and then their voice will kind of fade a little bit with that NI coming in, like an INFJ, and then it will pick back up again. While like an SE Dom is just gonna be straight across the board, and then they'll have how do I explain it? They'll have like this ping pong in their hand gestures between extroverted and introverted judging, like an ESFP or ENFP. They'll have the body language of an introverted judger and an extroverted judger kind of going back and forth when they're talking about stuff. That's another way to a visual cue. No, don't let visual cues be the end all be all. Let that be a tool to help you assess what you already know. But like somebody who leads with like JI, they're typically going to have their body language very close to their body. They don't want to be touched. They have a huge personal bubble, arms always crossed. I don't know how to explain it, but you probably know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I recognized her type by just listening to her voice. I could hear kind of the SE kind of NI thing going back and forth, and just I don't know. She sounds like me when she talks.
Right. It's that like directness with the way that it's like just this is how it is kind of stuff, and then like kind of getting into that abstract thought, like that big picture, but still like more like this is how it is, and just like kind of. And it's also interesting. I kind of wanted to add to what you were saying about people who are judging leads and people who are perceiving leads. Like people who are judging leads, that means you're more balanced between your like perceiving function. So you're more balanced between that SE and NI. Whereas someone like me, I'm a perceiver lead, which means I favor one over the other, and I'm more balanced between my judgment functions. And like one personality theory basically says that those who lead with judgment functions, you guys have a much bigger priority about your place and identity in the tribe, whereas people who like me are perceiver leads, we're more concerned with like controlling the outside world, for lack of a better way of saying it.
You're more prone to freaking out about stuff. Like a friend of mine, my singer in my band is ENFP, and he is just like big on conspiracy theories. It'd be like, you see that in the sky? That's chemtrails. Or he'd be like, oh, that's what's going on. Or he'd be like, don't do that because the government's, just all this weird fucking like things that lead intuitives or even lead sensors. They freak out about the missing information. And that is such a true thing. I see that. Excuse me. I see that in those lead perceivers that the missing information really like scares the hell out of them because, yeah, conspiracy theories are interesting. And I'm like, okay, so that might be going on, but it doesn't scare me. I'm just like, well, shit happens, whatever, but they're like, no, America needs to wake up. All this bullshit's going on. Did you not know, they like anybody who says
I do that.
right. But Oh yeah, NI will make you kind of more drawn to that. But I guess my point is people who really are leading with that perceiving function, they do forget about the missing information. They also have like a more fluid body language. I don't know how to explain that really, but their body language is a lot different from somebody who leads with a judging function. So even like an SI or NI or NE or SE leads, they're all going to have some similarities. But like if you watch an ISFJ or INFJ, you'll see that they use a lot of extroverted judging in their hands when they talk. Does any of that make sense?
Yeah, yes, it does.
I have myself muted. Wow.
Yeah, you did.
It's
Nice.
because Tim's playing guitar in the other room, and I don't want it to like be the like have a whole lot of yeah, exactly. But it is totally true that we want to like know all the information like almost excessively, so like I can never be satisfied with enough information about a situation. Like you can always tell me more and I will be glad to hear it, and I probably will like continue to ask for more. Yeah, and it's interesting because like for me, like also like to kind of add to like judger leads, you guys are, I said this a little bit before, but more concerned with your own identity, especially if you're like an introverted judger, you're more concerned with your own identity, and you're a little bit disjointed from the tribe, and vice versa if they're like a extroverted judger lead, which is something that I don't struggle with as much. Like, yeah, I still think about it, but definitely not as much as that like need to have all the pieces of information.
That's probably why I'm so obsessed with MBTI and finding out my actual type is because my identity is like huge to me, you know. I'm really bad about too much emphasizing. Even this paper I'm writing in my English class, I'm supposed to convince the teacher that rock opera is a form of literature, and I keep referring to why I like it so damn much. And I'm thinking, well, I have to convey why they should like it, but everything is like I this, I love this, I love this. I'm like, damn it, she's gonna tell me I'm self-absorbed.
That's awesome.
No, but you could totally make that. You could still make a good case, even if it's what you like, because you could show, you know, your preferences towards literature or whatever. I don't know. Now that I'm saying it out loud, it still like sounds kind of preferential and subjective.
FI is very subjective, whether we want it to be or not. It's bad because even when I'm in a band, I'm always like, I want to agree with the lyrics. I want to have the vision, so to speak, whether that's good, bad, or indifferent. I've always been bad about every band I've been in. I'm like, here, guys, here's a song. Y'all want to play it? Instead of saying, well, do you have a song? I'm very bad about like not asking people to write stuff. I'm more like, I wrote this, I wrote this, I wrote this, I wrote this, I wrote. I'm terrible at that.
Wait, so you? Oh, go ahead, Cal.
Are you, I don't know, I'm having a hard time hearing the conversation right now, but are you saying that you feel like you're bragging?
No, it's more like I'm bad about getting people's opinions on stuff. I'm more like, here's a song, guys, because I'm one of those. I like having a vision on everything, and I've been bad about consulting the quote unquote tribe over the years and saying, let's write the song together. I'm just more like, okay, I wrote this. This is the verse, the chorus, the intro, the solo part.
Oh, you
Here's the
feel
full
too
structure.
independent?
Yeah, a little too independent. And that's gotten me in a lot of trouble over the years where people are like, well, fuck, can we write a song too? What if we don't like some of the riffs you're writing? I'm just like, oh, shit, I never thought of that.
You gave it to them when it was the rough draft. Like, don't give it to them when it's perfected. Like, get just like the gist of it and then ask them for their opinion. You know, basically make it yours, but then add them, like, ask them to like put their own like 2 cents in it after it's already like half done.
That's what
Would
I'm
that
bad
make you feel
about.
better?
That's what I'm bad
Huh?
about is not asking the opinion. I'm just more like, here's the riffs, let's jam. And I've with this
Well, I
band,
mean, it sounds like those are just like things in yourself that you got to push and like make yourself do it. You know what I
oh
mean?
yeah,
My
yeah,
Oh, go ahead.
was gonna say you probably relate to that though, being very independent and wanting things just kind of in your own way. This is what I feel.
Mhm.
This is what works for me. This is what I like. And you're like, struggling to
Yeah.
be like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes, especially when it's stuff that I know I'm really skilled in, I get a little cocky and I don't feel like I have to ask other people's opinion. I just kind of do it and be like, deal with it. This is what it is.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Is the camera still showing me?
It's showing your picture. I mean, we can hear you.
Okay, that works. Hold on. Trying to figure out I'm trying to figure out what time I'm supposed to eat tonight.
No worries. I guess I'll ask Kale a question while we're waiting. So it sounded like you related quite a bit to what he was saying. Like, how often are you willing to seek the input of other people?
Hmm. Well, it depends because I know that on an intuitive and an emotional sense, I can be really wrong, but I know that I've developed things over the years. I mean, right, I can usually be right, but I've developed things over the years that interfere with that. So I can also be really wrong. You know what I mean? So when it comes to emotional and mental things, like I have a lot more blockages and I ask people for their input often. But when it comes to like the black and white part of life, the like organization to get it done, like the straightforward shit, unless it's like, I don't know, like in a work position, when it affects other people, I'll kind of have my own set. Do you think about this? Do you agree or disagree? But for other people's input.
Okay, so it was cutting out a little bit, but you basically said, now correct me if I'm wrong, you basically said, like, for emotional matters, you trust yourself a lot, even though, there are times, like, the way that you are, sometimes you're either really, really right or really, really wrong. But when it comes to work stuff and, like, external stuff, you're more willing to accept other people's input, or was it the opposite? I'm sorry.
It's the opposite. When it comes to my emotional and mental stuff, because I know it can be like pretty strong hit or miss, I ask for other people's input to see if I have more to think about or if I'm like spot on. But when it comes to the black and white part of life, I usually don't really ask for much input. Yeah. He's nodding his head
I
like,
see
yep.
Charles nodding too. Do you
That's
want to add to
awesome.
that, Charles?
I think he froze again.
Fucking rain.
I hear you.
Oh yeah. Keep getting all these damn notifications, drive me fucking nuts.
Yeah, I could hear that. I was wondering who was buzzing because I know it's not me for a fact.
It's my dad complaining about something. He's an ISFP as well.
But yeah, so we saw you nodding. Like, is that something you agree with? Like, because you can be so hit or miss, you reach out to other people, but with like the black and white stuff, like you're pretty sure that you can like figure it out on your own.
If I have knowledge on it, then I don't need opinions. If I'm literally confused, like over the years, I'll be like, what do I do with this girl? Does she like me? Does she not like me? How do I approach this situation? Then I'll seek opinions because I'm literally like have no knowledge on it and I'm super confused. When it's stuff that I'm very certain about, I just do it my way. When it comes to like I said, where I lack knowledge, that's where I find I will seek a lot of knowledge from people on situations that I just don't have any real experiences on.
Hmm. Oh no, we lost Kale again. That's okay. She'll come back. Um,
Why is it so quiet now? Is this thing like not on speakerphone? Because it sounds like you're just coming out off of the regular speaker. Like I barely hear you.
who, me?
Yeah.
Um, well, I don't know. Maybe like it's adjusting the sound for the background noise because like the guitar's like in the room next to me.
Yes! Can you see me?
Okay.
Yes.
Louder. Okay, now y'all both got louder again.
Oh, maybe it's your phone then.
I don't know. I don't know. Technology sucks. Okay,
I
yeah.
know.
I don't know how to explain it, but like I agree with what she's saying. Because I have been in situations where I have seeked opinions, like when I needed advice on like how to handle like a girl or something. But when it comes to what guitar do I like, I know what guitar I like. I know what amplifiers I like. I know what gear I want. I will go get it. I don't need opinions. I love Gibsons. I love Marshalls. I will seek out those things. But when it comes to relationship advice, I might be like, what does it mean when a girl does this, 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 and this? I'm super confused. Should I talk to her? Should I not? Stuff like that. Yeah, I need opinions because I don't fucking know. I literally like knowledge.
So I had an idea for a question. How do you respond when someone tries to give input on things that you have a really strong opinion on?
Wait, can you re-ask that?
Say that
Yeah,
one.
sure. How do you react when somebody tries to give you input on something that you know exactly how you feel about?
Nice. Usually not a very nice answer.
Your signal's cutting out bad.
It's
That that face though. What about you, Charles? How do you react
Um,
when people like try to give you opinions? Like if someone were to tell you, like you said, you need like you know the exact year and model of the guitar you want. What if somebody comes in and is like, no, um, or like, have you thought about getting this model or stuff like that? How do you react to those kind of questions or like output
on
input from other people?
on something minor, since it's a gear thing, I might be like, "That's cool, man," but I'm gonna go this route. You know, now if it's like somebody trying to life coach me and tell me like how to live my life, that shit really gets on my fucking nerves. I'm not saying I'm unteachable. I want to be teachable. If I really need knowledge, obviously I seek it. But I've been called an asshole over the years, meaning I'll ask for advice that I never ever take because I just do what I want to anyways because I just don't care.
I feel like we're literally the same person. These are all you're saying right now is me. Like, same. Yeah, I get it.
Because we have inferior TE, so we're drawn to knowledge, but FI is so much stronger, and FI is like, well, yeah, that person said that, but I'm gonna do what I want to anyways. Like it's hard to
Yeah.
explain, but like, um, I use, like I said, I use a Marshall amp, and it's a hybrid. It's not a fancy tube, because I can't afford that shit. If somebody were to try to say, well, like my drummer, I mean, he's cool, but he loves Mesa Boogie Mark III, and he's always like, could always play on a Mark III, and I'm like, I like Marshalls.
God. Dude, okay, so when it came to cutting my hair off, my hair used to be like down here, and then I dyed it and I cut it off, and it was this whole thing. And when I decided to just say fuck it and start from scratch and start over again, I had so many people tell me, "Oh, but you look so pretty with your long hair. You shouldn't cut your hair." Or like some boyish comment, I've been called sir one time because this asshole was like, "You're obviously a chick, but you have short hair." Those judgmental comments, like I shouldn't have my hair the way I wanted to. I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna cut it off anyway. Like,
Uh,
fuck you.
I've always been a fan of the long hair, but actually, yeah, the short hair works for you. It gives you this assertiveness. But what I'm personally more into is the long hair. But I relate to that because, like, if I trim the beard, somebody's like, "Oh, your beard looks so much nicer." They can go fucking eat a dick. I have a beard. Don't
Oh
tell me
my,
to shave my damn beard.
straight up. Like, my hair when it's long, so damaged. I was like, fuck it.
Yeah, so you
And I
get
don't need
everything I'm
anyone
talking about
else's
because, like,
judgments telling me what to do. Michelle's face is frozen in this weird ass position right now. That's just awesome.
That is hilarious. Well, no, I get what you're talking about because,
I
like,
can't
even
even
when
take this seriously anymore. Like, I can't.
oh, sorry, I couldn't hear you. I'm not trying to talk over you. The sound is bad.
Yeah, something's happening.
She's in the misty mountains.
Oh,
Yeah, your connection, Kale, is something else.
I swear to God, it either fucks individually or both of you guys get fucked, and I'm over here like talking to myself, like, what the fuck?
Right.
Me off. Like, seriously, I'm ready to hang up because it's happening more and more. It's because it's snowing so bad.
I know what you mean though on the whole opinions thing. Like when I actually trim around my beard, people try to tell me it looks nicer, but I take that as an insult because it's like, what, you didn't fucking like what was there to begin with? Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, dude, straight up. Other people's opinions on shit like that is so fucking pointless. And when people put it out there, like, you're supposed to listen to them, it's just infuriating to me that people think that they matter that much, especially when usually the people that I get rude ass comments like that from are people that don't even have my personal cell number. You don't fucking know who I am, so why the fuck do you think that's your place?
Exactly.
So, I don't know if you guys know much about Enneagram, but I do have someone who asked like what your Enneagram type is, if you know it.
6, 9,
I
and
don't know what the
4.
fuck that is.
6, 9, and what?
6, 9, 4. That's
Six,
my
nine,
tri-type.
4. I'm a 9. I'm pretty sure I'm a 9-7-1. A 9-1-7 probably actually in that order. But
Enneagram before.
You're 3,
yeah,
6, 7, 5, 3, 9.
exactly. So, Kale, I'm actually trying to like look up a picture so I can like help you out and give you some insight into this. Um, 6 sentences, and you tell me which one fits you the best. So,
Right on.
okay, would you rather, or do you feel more like this is important to be right, to be appreciated, to be successful, to be original, to be competent, to be secure, to be happy, to be strong, or to be at peace?
Oh, fuck. Appreciated. 100%.
Appreciated. That's a 2, right? Pretty sure that's 2.
I think so. Yeah, it was pretty early on.
So there you have it. I mean, I trust her intuition on this because she's usually good about those quick things. She's definitely, I'm pretty sure that's 2 because 2 after that was to be original, which is 100% number 4, which I have like almost none of.
Suck at your FI.
Right? Well, that's
What?
what he said. I suck at my introverted feeling. But the
No,
thing is,
I'm
huh?
saying, do you suck at it in your opinion? Not my opinion. Do you feel good at FI or do you feel like it's bad?
I struggle with it. I struggle to pay attention to it. Like, I wish I could pay attention to it more because, like, the way that it is, like, I'll prioritize, um, like, idea creation and making things happen more so than I prioritize, like, what's the right thing for me. And often it's like after the effect, like, I'll do something and then be like, oh, I don't know if I like that.
Right.
Is probably the first thing that I focus on every day.
Exactly. And that's why you lead with your FI because I think honestly FI really is like one of the strongest forms of intuition, like because it doesn't really have a whole lot of reasoning behind it. It's an intuition that just like tells you like this is right or this is wrong. And honestly, I think sometimes it's more intuitive than actual NI or any like intuition functions.
I could agree with that because, like, I originally typed as an INFJ, which is hilarious because I'm nothing like an INFJ at all.
No.
I jammed with one in a band and I told her I think that's my type and she just looked at me like I was nuts and I don't blame her because like No, I'm way too. Well, I lack FE, hence all the cussing that comes out of my mouth.
It's okay. I lack FE too. So.
Yeah, I don't even give a fuck about social norms. I know as weird as that sounds. I'm not saying go out and be crazy, but I just don't give a fuck about social norms. If somebody's like, "That's rude," well, I'm gonna wear a band shirt or like the stupidest thing I saw as a kid. It was I remember my grandparents because they're extreme SJ. It's rude to wear a cap in the house. I'm thinking, why is it rude to wear a fucking hat? Shit, who gives a fuck?
What's so? I guess I have a question. Like, do you tend to try to hang around with people who are less socially conventional, or does that or are you more like picker? Like, is it more how am I trying to say this? Do you more likely have friends that are like the same, where they don't really care about as much about social conventions, or will you be willing to be friends with people like that? And does that ever become a struggle in your friendship or relationship?
No, because I hang out with mainly metalheads. Although personality wise, I'm drawn to like EJs. I like EJs a lot, but I typically hang out with metalheads, and most of them are FPs of some sort. I don't hang out with a whole lot of FE people, although I'm drawn to like FE Doms. I can get along with a female ESFJ or ENFJ really well because they are very opposite, and their FE complements the FI because it's used differently from like an IFJ.
Hmm.
Most of the people I hang out with is really just my bandmates, and most of us are FPs or some kind of perceiver type. We're all very like laid back and just kind of do what we want. We're not like socially conventional by any stretch of the imagination.
So I know, Kale, you don't really know as much about Myers-Briggs, but you definitely, I'm sure, can understand like if people are into social conventions or not. So, like, same question for you.
Yeah, I'm different because I feel like people like you with the more like bubbly, extroverted personality, you guys tend to be a lot nicer than I am, and you guys tend to just have a different way of looking at life and communicating with people. And you guys are kind of like my yin and yang. You're like the yin to my yang, you know what I mean? So I tend to hang out with people more like you because I feel like I so heavily carry like my own like rebellious, really strong and assertive and aggressive personality that hanging out with people like you guys helps balance me out a little bit and helps me cope with the normal world. You know what I mean? Like if I didn't have people like you in my life, I would have probably blown up at this point, just like internal combustion. I just would have, I probably would have died by now if
That
I didn't
makes
have
sense.
people like you in my life. So
But
that's just the difference.
am I socially conventional, or do I help make you feel more like positive about people?
I think no, that's a fine line because you are more socially conventional than I am, but it's because you see people in a lighter aspect that you can cope with that environment better than I can. And I learn a lot from you because you're able to do that and it's not a part of my nature. Like you're naturally able to like see both sides and I'm over here like fuck you and you're the one that has to be like what about this? Like
Maybe that's why I like ENFPs as well. I get along with that type really well. Actually, I'm very drawn to them. But yes, I relate to you because I typically go through life thinking that most people are idiots, even though I do care about them from a Christian perspective, which is why I shouldn't call them idiots. But you see all the stupid shit people do every day. You're just like, man, I just don't like people. Like I don't like humans in
mhm.
general. I like maybe five humans. And I mean,
Yeah.
I try to love everybody in a Christian sense. Like if a homeless guy comes up to you, feed the dude, because I get it, the struggle's real. But at the same
Mhm.
time, I have a hard time not being misanthropic. It's horrible, but that's just how I am.
Yeah, I have a really pessimistic view on people too. I just feel like there's a lot of pain and like there's war everywhere. And most people that you see on the street when they smile at you, it's fake because they know that they're never going to see you again. Or the people that you do get close to, a lot of them end up fucking you over. And that's why we only have like 2 or 3 good friends. And
Yeah,
it's really hard to have that optimistic view of the world because so many people are the opposite of the way that you wish it could be. And then people like Michelle come in and it's like they can bring that like other perspective in.
exactly. That people have just let me down over the years. You put people on pedestals and they fucking like
That high
completely,
horse.
we put people on pedestals and they completely don't live up to what you imagined them to be. So you're like, well, fuck, I thought you were cool, but you suck instead. What the hell? You get burned so bad by people that you're very selective about who you really want to talk to. You I'm very against hanging out with toxic people. If somebody brings me down enough or I don't like the way they act or things they say, I eventually phase them out of my life and I hang out with people who will only make me feel good.
I know that it's really fucked up and people take it really
Where'd you go?
No. She was totally like, I feel like I knew what she was gonna say.
She's deep in the misty mountains.
It's snowing, so they
She's in the
got that.
mines. She's in the mines of Moria.
Ah, exactly. Are you
Uh,
back? I see your visage.
I gotta go in about 10 or 15 minutes because they told me where the food's at.
Okay, no worries. I knew that it would be coming pretty soon.
So it's been a long day though.
Yeah. So, did you do anything besides working today?
Oh, I didn't work. I just long band practice and then
Oh, right.
band
Duh.
practice. Band practice. Then we just kind of sat in the lobby doing nothing for like a few hours, browsing our phones.
Nice. Oh, I know what I was gonna ask. Like, what does like phasing out somebody who's negative to you look like?
You gradually
That's what I
stop.
was just trying to say before I got fucked.
You, what does it look like?
Uh-huh.
You just gradually don't message them and you just kind of go about your life. And whether that's right or wrong, I've done that to some people over the years when I get really hurt. It's that or fucking, well, what do you want me? I mean, maybe I need to talk to people, but at the same time, if they don't realize how toxic they are and they don't want to listen, I have two modes. I'll either ghost you or I'll fucking blow up on you one day and cuss you out. You take your pick. You want me to fucking yell at you and tell you how much of a piece of shit you are, or do you want me to just kind of go about my life? Now, is that right? Probably not. I probably need better coping methods, but that's how I do things. I'm not saying I agree with it. It's just how I do things.
Straight up. I'm the same way. Like, for example, when I really care about somebody and things start to go south, I tend to get to that point where I'm trying so hard to like make it work out, where I'll just bottle it and bottle it and bottle it until they do that one thing that crosses the line and I end up blowing up and freaking out. And it's usually because I care about that person more that it hurts me so much that I freak out like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if it's somebody, maybe I did care about them at one point, but their actions, I don't know, because I can really care about somebody, but sometimes their actions will get so intense to me that I just like kind of emotionally clock out. And then once it gets to that point, that's usually when I ghost somebody, is because like you've just proven to me so many times that I just like I can't even involve my emotions or my mind with you at all anymore. Like I'm done. I just they stop being a part of me altogether. Like I just can't do it anymore. So I clock out.
Yeah,
See,
they judge us so harshly. Like when you want to be emotionally vulnerable and tell them about something you're struggling with, instead you get criticized about your life or your decisions. It's like, no, I don't need that. I just need somebody to fucking be there for me, not somebody to fucking criticize my life. So I go about my business, like because I have a bad temper. It's either I ghost you or I eventually fucking yell at you and break your shit. You take your pick. Not saying that's
Yep.
right. I'm just saying that's what my temper does to me. It's very dangerous.
It really is their choice, though, because if you're anything like me, which this personality conversation has proven to be true, I generally will give people chances and will try to talk to them a million and one times before it comes to the either clocking out of them or freaking out on them. You know what I mean? So it really does come down to whether they want to work it out or not, because when you've put yourself out there so many times to try and they keep doing the shit, then they fucking asked for it. They either asked to get cut off or get blown up on at that point. They're asking for it. They want that bullshit because they won't fucking step up and be like, yeah, maybe I'm being an asshole.
Depending on the person, some people are easier to talk to than others, but some people are so toxic that I just flee. But yeah, I relate to a lot of that for sure. It's definitely a thing for sure.
Yeah.
It's a real
Yeah, I get that on
thing.
the toxic too, because some people, if they're toxic, honestly, if you're a toxic personality where I've already experienced you in a million different bodies, you know what I mean? Like I already see where it's going, then that's usually when I'll ghost somebody out without trying to talk to them. Because like I already see where this is going. I'm just saving ourselves a step or two. Peace out.
See, that's honestly something that I wish that I could do better. Like I will keep people in my life who are incredibly toxic for like an incredibly long period of time because I feel convinced that I can help them not be toxic. It's a problem. I need to learn more of that. Like, know when it's not going to be good for you.
That's why
Kudos to you.
people like me end up
I got
being
about
like the
5 more minutes.
pipeline for you.
Okay, I heard you, Charles. You said you have about 5 minutes, and then Kale, I did not hear a word you just said.
What?
What'd you just say? It all cut out.
What do you mean?
You said,
Oh, I remember. I said that's why people like me end up being like the more protective friend for people like you, because you guys, even though you might get like an inkling, you might see it, you don't really know how to say it. And people like me are so blunt. I'll just be like, fuck you. Sorry, you're an asshole. And you're just like, but no, wait, understand them. And some people just don't deserve to be fucking understood by you, Michelle. Some people don't, they don't earn it. They don't deserve it. People
Yeah,
gotta earn that.
ENFP friend of mine is friends with an ISTJ who talks down to him all the time. And I finally told the dude privately, the ENFP, I said, dude, your friend's pissing me off and I hate the way he fucking talks to you. And I swear if he talks to you that way again, I'm probably going to go off on him because that shit's pissing me off. Because he's like, he was hanging out at his house, okay, and there was like his toilet was a little messy, and he's like, "You're a fucking degenerate, fucking disgusting human being." The ISTJ is just going off on him. I don't remember half of what he said because I was thinking, "What the fuck,
Yuck.
dude?
He sounds like a dick.
He's your fucking guest." And he's like, "You are a depraved human," or some stupid bullshit. I don't remember what he said. And then like after that dude was gone, the next time I hung out with the ENFP, and I'm like, dude, I do not like that ISTJ friend of yours or whatever. I don't like the way he's acting towards you. If he does something again, I'm gonna say something. And he's like, no, dude, he's just going through a lot of shit right now. And I'm like, I don't fucking care. He doesn't need to talk to you that way. That's not cool.
Yeah.
He's like, well, his mom's stressing him out. I was like, I don't fucking care. He doesn't need to call. He doesn't need to be calling you a depraved human being. You're not a depraved human being.
I get to that point too. That's like the unemotional part of your brain of when people are total assholes and treat people like shit. Like I have serious like a syndrome where I cannot watch bullying and accept it into my brain as anything that is remotely okay. Like I just like cannot comprehend that. So when people act like that, I'll just like no matter what excuse people try to give them, I'm just like, I don't care. Bullshit. That's bullshit. I don't care. Like I go to the same place where like it's inexcusable on every level. They have no excuse.
Then I might tease some of my friends and we poke fun at each other, but nothing like that. I might joke around. We all do, but that's a whole nother thing. He's like, you let your dog drink out of that toilet that you don't clean. You're a depraved human being. I'm thinking, motherfucker, he invited you over to his house and you're being a major fucking piece of shit. And you're talking
Yeah.
shit to him. Whether he needs to clean his toilet or not, you're not going about it the right way. You're going about it the wrong way, and you're not going to accomplish anything. Because I know for me, like, yeah, I might tease my friends. We tease each other. We're bros. We do that. But one of the biggest things I find disrespectful is when you're in somebody else's roof, you do not fucking disrespect them. You're under their property. You got to be acting cool, or you can go the fuck home. That's a big value of mine. Is like if you're under my roof and you're gonna come talk to shit in my house, I will throw you out the door. Does that sound relatable?
Straight up. Friends' houses too, especially if it's like a really good friend and I've been to their house a million times and like somebody new comes over and they immediately start throwing shade and those bad you like this is your first time over here and that's how you're acting, like get the fuck out of here. Then it doesn't even have to be my house. Like just have respect for people. That's my thought process. Just have some common human decency for people. I don't care who you are, who you think you are. Your pedestal does not exist in my brain, so get on my level.
It's really weird. We're FI dominance, and people think, oh, they're FI dominant, so they're so like they're special snowflakes who are so sensitive. But the thing is, when you cross one of our values, we are fucking major hard asses.
Straight up.
If you
Straight
offend
up.
if you offend one of our values, we are not afraid to fucking bite your head off. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
proud of it, but my grandfather did some shit a long time ago that pissed me off, and you know, um, he can be very hypocritical at times, and he claims to be this devout Christian. Granted, I'm not the greatest example because I say fuck all the time. But he doesn't, he had this I'm not going to help anybody attitude, and I finally went off on him. I'm like, do you even read your fucking Bible? You call yourself a Christian, but I just seriously doubt you are because you won't even feed somebody who's starving or homeless. You piece of
Yeah.
shit. I'm not proud of it, but I actually went off on him and fucking cussed him out. And I'm not proud of that, but inferior TE does that, if that makes any sense. I got 5 more minutes. I'm probably running late because, God, it was a good conversation, but I got to get to where we're eating, and I don't even know how to get there. I have to use GPS. But
Yeah.
does any of that sound relatable though, Kale? The whole like somebody.
100%. Yep. Yep. Yeah, when people claim to be one thing but then do the complete opposite of that and show their true colors, especially when it's in a manner like that that's just like really unhealthy and not okay to my morals and my brain, like I'll trip out on them. And like that fearless cursing out thing that you said, like definitely, like people think that I'm a sweetheart or whatever because I am nice in general and I'm introverted so I don't say a lot, but people get the wrong impression because then they think it's okay to be comfortable around me talking shit and being disrespectful people and going against what values they say. And I hold people up to their word. You say that you're about this, then I'm gonna fucking hold you up to that. So when they don't, I'll trip out because then that feels like a big lie to me and like you're wasting my time because you're not being honest with me. So why the fuck do I have to give you any respect? It's a give and take.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. If you read articles about inferior TE, both of you, it will. ISFPs and INFPs are very notorious for actually being really hard asses when they're finally just sick of it. Because
Mm.
people think, oh, they're feelers. They're gonna be so sweet all the time. They're so sensitive. It's like we're feelers, but we're hard asses at the same time. We don't like bullshit. I don't like people who are fake or pretend or hypocritical. Just be yourself, whatever the fuck that is. Be you.
People people hear the feeler part and they're like, oh, so they're like happy, joyful people. And it's like, no, I also feel sad and I feel mad. Like I feel the negatives just as strongly. It's not secluded to one area of my fucking being. Sorry to disappoint.
I know we live in our emotions. It's a beautiful thing and a horrible thing at the same time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I think, this conversation kind of like illuminates a little bit about like what FI actually is, which, like, Kale, I think you said that really well. Like, somebody tells you what their morals is, and you're going to hold them up to that individually. You're not holding the same morals for everyone. You're holding each person up to the morals that they have said that they have. And that's actually something I relate to too. And I think there's kind of a misconception about FI as it's only about like being aware of your feelings, which I think isn't even 100% true. I think that's probably true of like SE DOMs. You might be more aware of like what you're physically feeling, but it's more about that like moral and the intentions of people. And you want intentions to match actions. And when they don't, it's like, WTF, man. Like,
Yeah.
because someone was asking me like, what's the value of FI? Like, what's the point of FI? And I think this conversation is kind of showing us exactly what the point of FI is. Like, it's to hold people up to the standards that they say they have for themselves in a moral construct. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Dude, everybody needs to be held up to standards. I mean, I'm a fucking hard ass on myself, and I hold myself up to the highest standards of everybody else. So I feel like everybody's on equal ground. Like, I need to do and be what I say I'm going to do and what I say I am, and you need to do the same. Like, that's me being able to give to you, is knowing that I have that in me, and that's you being able to give to me, knowing that that's actually part of you. And if you're going to fucking bullshit me and say that you're something that you're not, then we can't vibe. We cannot.
Exactly.
It's not gonna happen. Sorry.
Exactly. If you are like, if, like I've been judged harshly by religious folks, because I'm a Christian who's a metalhead, and people don't like that, And I remember being in middle school, like some girl said she's a Baptist. I'm thinking, okay, she might be actually pretty cool, but then she like totally just screws up and acts arrogant and judgmental, and I'm like, I thought you said you're a Christian. You're not loving or kind or compassionate at all. She's like, well, I'm not perfect. It's like, no, but you at least need to be compassionate. What the hell?
Some people use religion. I found this. Some people use religion as a mask for what they really are. They strive so hard to want to be like that, but it's not who they are, and they use it as a mask and a fucking manipulation tactic a lot of the time. That's why it's
Exactly.
really hard to find people that are actually devout Christian or devout Hindu or whatever, because people are fucking extremists.
Yeah. I
Quite
mean,
honestly.
I don't know if I could be called a devout Christian, but I believe it strongly. Unfortunately, I cuss like a sailor, but if you grew up in the situation I grew up in, if you went through what I went through, whether it's good, bad, or
People that
indifferent,
cuss a lot are honest.
this is me. I am real. I am Charles. You can see me, you can touch me. What you see is what you get. Whether it's
Mhm.
perfect or not is another debate for another day. But that's how FI is. You get what you see. I am not putting on any mask when I pertain to be something I'm not. I'm a Christian. I'm a human. I'm a metalhead. I'm a dude. I am. I can be cool. I can be foul. I can be all these things because I'm freaking real. Whatever people perceive that as, I'm not perfect, and nor do I profess to be it. I'm just a human who's growing one day at a time, and that's people have a hard
Exactly.
time with that sometimes when they see that, no, we're not perfect. I'm a Christian, but I'm not going to like lie about myself. You cuss? Yes, I do. Whether it's good, bad, or indifferent is another story. But I'm human. I am me. Whatever me is.
Yeah.
What you see is what you get. I'm the as Peter Griffin said in that one thing. I'm the real article.
No,
Is me.
and I think you bring up another good point with what you're saying is like, and this is what I'm interpreting, but basically, like, you prioritize which values are the most important, and the ones that are most important, you're gonna try to live up to the best that you can. And the ones that don't matter as much, like cussing, like, you're not gonna do it. Like, you're not gonna feel like this need to constantly watch what you say. But the things that really matter, you're gonna really prioritize and try to make sure that you're doing them all the time. And I relate to that. And
Yeah,
honestly, there's really nothing in the Bible that says anything about cussing. I'm just saying.
I just
It's
want
true.
to
It's the
try to
church's standards. That's a fact.
church is very SJ as well too.
Oh
An
yeah.
FP Christian is totally different from from an FJ Christian or an SJ Christian. Like an FP Christian might be the one that actually feeds the homeless, while the SJ is like, oh, I'm better than them. But the FP is like, I kind of know how it feels to be struggling, so the FP will help. The thing about FI is we're very authentic, and we can't not be authentic because that would literally kill us emotionally. Like that, not being authentic could send us into a spiral of extreme depression.
Dude, straight up, and your brain feels foggy. I've been in that place. It's been a while since I've been there, but I still remember. It makes your brain feel foggy. It makes you feel like you're a different person, and that's because you are. It's because you're not flowing to who you actually are, and you're trying to force something that's not real for you.
I've been in a situation where I stupidly was trying to, I guess, impress somebody, a female or whatever, and I tried to convince myself, well, I'm making these changes for myself, but actually the changes I was trying to make were killing me emotionally, because I am so FI about everything, trying to like be quote unquote FE, I guess, trying to be more like an FJ type or whatever you want to call it. Just being not being yourself. Let's take the theory out of it. Just not being yourself kills us emotionally. And I went to suicidal depression to where I hated myself for these stupid reasons, and I wanted to die. I'm not proud of it, but I wanted to die because I was so miserable. And I was ultra reclusive, didn't want to talk to hardly anybody, and I just pretty much hid, other than going to work or band practice. I pretty much hid and was very miserable and had to come out of that depression. I battle depression all the time. It is what it is. It's just something I live with. But like, no, it was terrible. It was probably one of the worst depressions I've ever had. And I realized, okay, um, I got to be me. Otherwise, and my thing is, if people can't accept the real me, then they're not meant to be in my life.
Exactly. When people only like the parts of you that they like, you know what I mean? But when they see parts that they don't like and then they get pissed off with you or whatever, and they just like start to shut you out because they see things that they don't like. It's especially painful when they see shit like that. And potentially there are things where you could improve. It could still be a part of you, but maybe you could improve, but they refuse to talk to you about it. That is fucked up.
Yeah, and I find INFJs can be either really cool or like not really cool. The older they are, they get cooler because they start developing more of their SP. But like younger INFJs with such strong FE, they really want that social normality, and I just can't give that. I'm sorry, I'm not very into social norms. You got to accept me for who I am because I don't expect anybody to
Hmm.
change for me. I mean, I don't want people to be assholes. Treat each other with love, kindness, and respect, and compassion. Love your fellow man, love your neighbor as yourself. But like, I don't expect anybody to change for me, so why should I change for them? I mean,
Straight up.
it's one thing if they're like doing like really bad drugs that could kill you. That's different. But like, people need to be themselves, and people are scared to be themselves, and I don't know why.
I mean, the only thing that I can come up with of why people are afraid to be themselves is not only society telling them who to be so that they don't really have a chance to be independent, but also if you have, I really think that the like main point is society and how it trains people. They put chemicals in our food, they put crazy shit on TV, they sent our grandparents and some of our parents and shit to war. A lot of our prior generations are fucking traumatized as fuck. You know what I mean? And we're the first generation that doesn't really have to deal with that as much. I mean, our food and our water and our TV still sucks, but we're not so traumatized. So we're like trying to figure out what the fuck happened. And it's hard to deal with sometimes. And I
Oh
think
yeah,
people just like watch their parents and they're like, maybe it is confusing, but that's how they've been doing it. And we turned out all right because some people are okay with their ignorance. You know what I mean? Some people
exactly,
don't want to see outside their box.
exactly. Damn, this conversation is good, but I feel like I feel like my band manager and my drummer have been waiting on me forever. Well, they're all kind of running late too. Ironically, the band manager was in the middle of interviewing somebody himself, but we're all supposed to have this big meeting tonight to discuss business crap, and like
Ooh.
I still haven't
I know.
left yet, and the drummer texted me 30 minutes ago that he was just barely leaving his house, and then I know the manager was in the middle of an interview himself, so it's just kind of ironic.
Wow. Well, that's
Yeah,
cool. Well, hopefully it'll all line up on time then, and you guys can get some like real shit done. Like, hopefully it's a really good, like, progressive meeting for you guys. That sounds awesome.
yeah, we're just discussing like logistical band crap or whatever, but it's weird. Do you find, Kale, one more before I leave?
Yeah.
You find even though you're ISFP, you still like having a creative endeavor. You like being involved in things, whether you're introverted or not. You love creative stuff, whether it's music or whatever. But because, like, yeah, I'm introverted, but I still need to be in a band, creating, writing music, being on stage. I
Yeah.
can't just. I'm not like an ISTJ who's comfortable, staring at his computer all day. I need to like go do something, like
Yeah.
play the guitar, write the music, be on stage. I love creative stuff, which is weird. People associate that with extroversion, but actually, no, that's just an SP thing. We need creativity. But do you relate to that? Do you need a creative outlet to feel alive?
Straight up. Like I was saying, like the music and it gets me all wrapped up and I just want to dance. Like I love creative dance and I really love ballet. Like I'm not like a fucking professional or anything, but I've definitely like gotten myself good enough where I don't look like a total fucking retard when I get in my zone, you know what I mean? Or like or singing, I love to sing. I love to go to karaoke and stuff, sing a song or two. I fucking love that kind of shit, where I get to, or like I fucking love EDM music and depends on the kind, but I just love to go to raves and feel the bass through my body and just dance my ass off. Even if I'm only like with one or two friends, I never go by myself because that's sketchy as fuck. All right. That's weird. But I do love those outlets where I can just like get into my zone and feel free and feel united at the same time, even if I'm doing my own thing. That like when you go to a concert, when you go to a show, it doesn't matter what style everyone in the crowd just like becomes one, and those are like one of my favorite moments to have, is because I am introverted, but I love to feel everything.
I know what you mean. I think it's part of having SE as your tool person. We use extroverted sensing to express what's really going on the inside.
Mhm.
ISFPs, even though we're not reported to be an extroverted introvert, we really are, but not in the way that INFJ is. INFJ is the extroverted introvert because they're good with people. We're an extroverted introvert in the sense that we love creativity and we need to do something creative. Otherwise, what's the point of living life if I can't write my book, be in my band, and play my guitar? Like, what's the point of living if I have to stare at the wall all the time? I'm not created to stare at the wall. I love being in a band. I love doing creative things. But anyways, I hate to cut y'all short because this is so good. I have to get
it's
going because they're
it's
probably
so good.
we're
No,
perceivers. We suck at it being on time to anything.
it's so
Straight up.
true. Well, I guess I'll just ask one last thing before we go, and I just want to know: is there anything that you wish people would know about your personality type that you think people don't know?
Oh yeah, I feel like a lot of people don't come up to people like us because we're often seen as intimidating, and
Or
I
elite.
just like don't feel that. Like I'm sure if you pissed me off, I could be intimidating, but me as a general person, like if this is your first time meeting you, I'm not going to be an asshole. You know what I mean? Like if you're straight up coming up to me with a conversation, I'm going to greet you like I would anybody else. You know what I mean? Everybody has an equal opportunity when we first meet. I'm not going to just be an asshole, but people see that I'm like tall or I've got like resting bitch face, or I don't know what it is exactly, but people often relate me with being intimidating, and I'm a softie. Like I'm a crybaby. Have you met me? I cry a lot. Get out of here.
I do on the inside. I never really show it outwardly, but gosh, yes, I'm the same way. People think I'm intimidating because I have long hair and a beard. I'm a big, creepy looking guy, but I'm actually a big teddy bear. You know,
Straight up.
Well,
I don't.
oh, go ahead. Did you have one other thing you wanted to say?
No, I guess I agree. And Michelle, we need to have a private chat about our books that we don't broadcast
Yes.
on YouTube.
That's
Maybe
so
one of
cool.
these,
You guys are writing books. That's legit.
maybe, maybe like I would say later tonight, but it'd probably be late, and I'll probably be tired. But like maybe sometime during the week if you stay up late enough. If not, because I liked your book, cool stuff going on in your book, and I wanted to talk about the book, but not on YouTube where everybody and their sisters watching.
Yeah, somewhere where we can be more private and
Right.
honest and whatnot. Yeah,
I
I
love your
like that
book too,
idea.
by the way.
Huh?
I love your book.
What'd you say? I didn't hear you.
Oh, I was telling her that I love her book. I've read parts of it. Well, she's read it to me, but she's changed a lot too. So
Yeah,
Cool.
she's seen a lot of different drafts.
Awesome.
But yeah, let's definitely do that. You know how to get a hold of me, so we'll make that happen. Maybe not tonight because I'll probably go to bed in a couple hours, but
Yeah.
definitely. And with that, I just want to thank you guys both for coming on here and helping to kind of share what it is actually like to be an ISFP and to kind of
yeah,
break it down and show people that you guys are just normal people. And
Sorry, I would have recommended. No, I was kidding.
yes, and I want to also thank everyone who's watching. There's still a few people who stuck around. Thank you guys so much for coming and checking this out. And if you're watching this after the effect, thank you so much for hanging out with us. And I hope you have a wonderful, fantastic day. Bye.
bye.
Be out with one of these bad boys right here.
Bye.
Nice.